Dear viewers, welcome back to NTV Europe's General Election TV Debate 2017. Today we are trying to find out which political party has the best to offer for Britain. We are talking on their manifesto on key important areas. On our last segment we were talking about NHS, Brexit, and there were MP candidates from all major political parties. They were responding what should be Britain's approach in Brexit negotiations. So if I start with you, Alistair Paulson, Green Party MP candidate, what approach your party will take in Brexit negotiation, if you can tell us very quickly?
The European Union is there for very specific purposes. It's there to deal with those issues that we can't deal with on our own. And there are lots of really crucial issues. Global warming doesn't recognise borders. Terrorism doesn't recognise borders. International capital doesn't recognise borders. So our negotiations has to protect our interests in each of those areas. Once a deal is done, it should be put to a referendum, and that referendum should include the option to stay in Europe.
Thank you very much. Now I need to move into the next aspect, which is immigration and foreign policy. So if I start with you, Alan Baxter, Liberal Democrats MP candidate, how UK will fulfill high skill migrant shortage in post-Brexit Britain?
So I think unless we have a fair immigration policy, we're really going to struggle. So there are a lot of people from the European Union that benefit from freedom of movement, and so do businesses in terms of coming and working here. You don't have the extra cost of visas. If that was the situation, we would want to make sure that there was possibly a points-based system for immigration. But the biggest principle for us is that it's businesses and employers that should decide who comes and works for them. What we don't want as a situation is that there's an immigration officer that decides whether or not someone can do a particular job. Employers and businesses want to be able to choose from a pool of 20 or so highly skilled people. Some of those would be UK citizens as well, and they choose the person that's the most appropriate for the job.
Thank you very much. Alistair Paulson, Green Party MP candidate, if I may ask you, how UK will fulfill high-skilled migrant shortage in post-Brexit Britain?
I want to hear what Chris is going to say about this, because the Tories have got no plan to fill the skill shortage that is inevitably going to follow from getting rid of free movement of people within the European Union. So the first thing that I would say... How about
outside of European economy?
The first thing I would say is we need to keep free movement of people within the European Union, and that is going to be one of the key ways that we secure skilled workers in our economy. So far as the rest
Green
of the
Party is advocating freedom of movement.
Absolutely, we want to maintain the free movement of people within the European Union. It's one of the great treasures, it's one of the great jewels of the European Union, is that it allows that to happen.
Outside of European
outside of European Union, we need to have a fair immigration system, much fairer than the one that we have. We want to make sure that families can stay together. We want to make sure that the rules are simple, fair and clear, that it is cheap for people to come to the European Union. We should not, to come to our country, we shouldn't be charging them so much money that it becomes financially impossible for them to get here.
Thank you very much. Chris Wilford, Conservative MP candidate, how UK will fulfill high-skilled migrant shortage in post-Brexit Britain?
Look, Britain's leaving the European Union. We want to get the best deal possible, and that will include possibly the ending of free movement, because we will be outside, we will control the borders, and that also means we decide who we can let in. So we say, do we need more tandoor chefs? Do we need more surgeons? Do we need more engineers? We'll be a global country, and we can adjust our immigration policy as we see fit. We took the decision to leave, we will control our borders.
Thank you very much. Maina Ahmed, Labour Party MP candidate, if I ask you the same question, how UK will fulfill high-skilled migrant shortage in post-Brexit Britain?
Well, the issue for us is to actually look at prosperity and growth for the economy, and that, without a doubt, as every independent think tank has said, includes immigration and it includes free movement of people. So whilst we will be looking at free movement of people, and will not be curbing immigration in the way that the Conservatives want to do it. We certainly will not be putting bogus targets on. We know that doesn't work. Every single target that the Conservatives have put on in the last 7 years have not been met, and they become a little bit pointless and futile. We will be actually looking at immigration. We will look possibly at work permits, possibly at employer sponsorship, and also visas as well.
Thank you very much. If I ask you, Chris Wilford, Conservative MP candidate, the next question: do you think international students should be taken out of net migrants target?
Look, this is an area of you know, a lot of controversy.
So you don't have any yes or no answer?
I don't really know. Okay. I'm still considering myself personally. I
okay.
think, but yeah.
But what's your party?
The party, you know, is considering, set out in our manifesto how we're going to go forward. I mean, it's such an emotional issue, but the key thing is, leaving the European Union, we will decide, and subject to future elections, we can say, or we can put that to the people.
Okay, thank you very much. Alistair Poulson, Green Party MP candidate, if I ask you the same question, do you think international students should be taken out of net migrant figure?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
You asked for a yes or no answer.
Thank you very much. That saves my time. Main Ahmed, if I ask you the same question, do you think international students should be taken out of net migrants figure?
Yes, of course. Students are students. They're here for a particular reason. They're not migrants.
Thank you very much. Alan Bagshaw, MP candidate from Liberal Democrats. What's your stand on it?
Yes, they should be taken out of
the
numbers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My next question, if I start with you, Chris, can your party guarantee the stay or stay of the EU national, those are already in the UK? What's going to happen to the people those are already in the UK, those are from European Union?
We can't give those guarantees. The negotiations haven't started yet. We're entering that process. Tough decisions are going to happen. We need to guarantee, look, there's lots of Britons overseas in Europe as well. Are they going to guarantee that? For, you know, we're entering a negotiation. It's going to be a tough process.
Will they be used as bargain chips?
Not bargain chips. You know, we're entering these negotiations. There'll be other issues to do, economic issues, things like defence and security. That would be the thing. But we can't give those guarantees yet because we're going into these negotiations.
Thank you very much. Alan Bagshaw, what's your party stand on it?
I think it's appalling that there are people who have lived here for a long time. They are our nurses, they're our teachers, and they are key parts of our community. They have families, and that they're being treated in this way. We absolutely would guarantee them the right to stay.
Okay.
The European Union did actually say if we guaranteed them the right to stay, they would do the equivalent for our citizens that are in the EU.
Thank you very much. Marin Ahmed, if I ask you the same question, you are Labour Party MP candidate. Will your party guarantee the stay of EU nationals who are already in the UK after Brexit?
Absolutely, and as Ellen has just said, that we already have that part of the negotiation dealt with. The EU have said that they will guarantee the rights of UK citizens in the EU, and it would be absolutely appalling to use people in this country who've helped to build this economy as a bargaining chip.
Thank you very much. Alistair Poulson, Green Party MP candidate, what's your party's stand on it?
Well, I think it's absolutely appalling that the implication of what Chris says is that there are people living in this country who might have lived here for years who will be forced to leave their homes and our country
so
if the negotiations go in a
particular
particular way. So the Green Party would absolutely 100% assure it, and so should the Conservative government now. There's nothing stopping them from giving that undertaking now.
Thank you very much, Alistair Poulson. My next question, if I start with you, Marin Ahmed, Labour Party MP candidate, does your party support 0.7% of GDP in foreign aid, giving foreign aid?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. If I ask you same question to Alan Bagshaw, what's your party stand on it?
Yes, we were the ones that brought in the law,
absolutely. Thank you very much. Chris Wilford, what's your...
Yes, we're committed to that in the matter.
Thank you very much. Alistair Poulson, what's your party stand on it?
The answer is no. We want to increase that from 0.7% to 1% of GDP.
Thank you very much. I need to move into my next topic. My next topic is security and defense, as we know that terrorism is growing. So if I start with you, Chris Wilford, Conservative Party MP candidate, what your party will do to ensure national security, what your party will do to ensure national security at the time when terrorism is one of the biggest threat?
We've increased funding for the Security Service and the Secret Intelligence Service. We are committed to the NATO GDP target for defence funding, and by 2021 we will have the biggest defence budget in Europe, £40 billion a year, second only to the United States within the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation. We're also going to be committed to investing nearly £178 billion worth in new technologies over the next 10 years, so we can respond to changing threats. Yeah, and the Prime Minister today has announced we're going to be going hard into the online space, where these threats are incubating.
Thank you very much. Marina Ahmed, Labour Party MP candidate, if I ask you the same question, what your party will do to ensure national security at the time when terrorism is a growing threat?
We are committed to the 2% of GDP for the defence budget. However, if I could actually take it down from security itself and look at a different element of security, the police, who are the eyes and ears of the absolute front line of protecting us on the streets of this country, have been cut back by 20,000 officers in the last few years. So
Labour is planning to increase?
So Labour is planning to increase the community aspect, community officers, by 10,000, which means that in this borough of Tower Hamlets, that will be another 20 community officers. Now, it is the community officers who can gather the intelligence and see if there is something that is going horribly wrong, and that's been proven over and over again.
Thank you very much. Alan Bagshire, Liberal Democrats MP candidate, if I ask you same question, what your party will do to ensure national security at the time when terrorism is one of the biggest threats?
So terrorism is one of those issues that we are better off tackling with our allies and our neighbours than we are attempting to do it on our own. So one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we nurture our international organisations. We're committed to the NATO target. We also want to make sure that whatever happens with Brexit, we stay part of agencies such as Europol. So that's where we share information between ourselves and all of
cooperation, tackling these sort of issues.
Exactly, and all of the other countries in the European Union, to make sure that we know where the threats are.
Thank you very much. Alistair Paulson, if I ask you same question, what your party will do to tackle this?
We need to refocus our military budget, and one of the first things that we should do is cancel Trident. It's a waste of money. It has absolutely no role in challenging and defeating terrorism, and we would invest that sort of money into the type of intelligence-led investigations and work that Chris is talking about in terms of computers and so on, that is so important in tackling the work.
So saving the money from there and putting it...
Absolutely, and what Marina is saying about the police officers being our eyes and ears on the street is absolutely right. It's unbelievable that in a time like this that we have cut 20,000 police officers.
Thank you very much. My next question to you, Alan Bagshire, Liberal Democrats MP candidate. What role Britain should play in upholding peace, democracy and human rights across the world?
So I think we should play a very active role in terms of diplomacy. I don't want us to turn into the world police that America seems to be taking on that role again. I think we need to look at things like, who do we do trade deals with? So if we are going to end up coming out of the European Union, one of our concerns as a party is that we don't start doing trade deals with countries that have
appalling
terrible human rights records, and that we make sure that we use things like trade as a way to influence changes in countries that we're working with.
Thank you very much. Marina Ahmed, if I ask you same question, what role Britain should play in upholding peace, democracy and human rights across the world?
We have a very important role, quite simply because of the history that Britain has around the world. And we are lucky that in this country we have the stable democracy that many other countries don't have. And I would absolutely agree with what Ellen has just said about our influence in terms of trade and how we can actually ensure that those values that we believe in are upheld. And one of the things about the Labour Party manifesto is that we believe very strongly in an ethical foreign policy, and that would be at the heart of our foreign policy.
Thank you very much. Alistair Paulson, Green Party MP candidate, if I ask you same question, what role Britain should play in upholding peace, democracy and human rights across the world?
Well, one of the things we should immediately stop doing is arming dictatorships and arming countries that use the weapons that we sell them either against their own people or against defenseless neighbours. And that would be one of the key things that we should do.
Stop selling arms to those countries.
Absolutely, stop selling arms to those countries. As I mentioned before, we want to increase our foreign aid budget, and by doing that we demonstrate to the world what it is our values are. We share our values, and people appreciate and understand that, and that's the way you develop positive relationships with countries.
Thank you very much. Chris Wilford, Conservative Party MP candidate, if I ask you the same question, what role Britain should play in upholding peace, democracy and human rights across the world?
We're in an age of strife. There's a Russian political strategist, Alexander Surkov, who's talked about a new nationalism that should spread its wings over. I think Britain, now it's leaving the European Union as well, needs to be a leading voice for liberty to combat the spread of such ideas, to make sure that this nationalism doesn't spread like a darkness and that we keep the light going. And yes, we should use our economic and soft power to make sure that we are that light of liberty.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, thank you for watching us today. You would be able to find this program on NTV's Facebook page and also at the same time NTV's YouTube channel. Thank you for watching us. Thank you, good night and take care.